In this video, you will see how to raise any numbers to powers and how to take the roots of those, in addition to rounding values and changing from decimals to fractions. So let's say if we want to find the value of 6 squared. Since squaring is a very common option, we have a squared button right to the left. So if we have 6 squared, that will give us the value of 36. And we can also do the exact opposite. We can take the square root of 36. So since the square root is a very common function that's also on your main screen, and since it's in blue and it's above your x squared button, we have to press second in order to access it. So we take second, and there's our square root option, and we can take the square root of 36. You don't necessarily have to close the parentheses. So let's say if we want to find what is 6 cubed. Well, if you look on the calculator, you don't see that button, but what we do have is the caret sign. So the caret sign is another way, the most general way, to raise any value to a power. So we have 6 raised to the third power. If you have a new operating system, you won't actually see your caret sign. You will have a little box that comes up, and the 3 will be there as your exponent. But we still press enter in order to evaluate, so we have 216. So what if we wanted to know the cube root of 216? Well, we have to actually access something else. So on your left hand side we have the math button, and under math we have fraction, decimal. Here's another way that you can access raising something to the third power, and the fourth option is our cube root. So you can either use your arrow keys to go down to number 4, or you can just type 4 for that option. So you want the cube root of 216, and you press enter, and we have the value of 6. So also under the math button, what you would see is a variable root button. So what if you wanted to know, let's say, the 5th root of 125? So you would enter your index in, then you would go to your math button, and you would go down to option number 5. So we want the 5th root of 125. And what we have is a decimal approximation. So right now, the mode that your calculator is under is float. It gives you as many decimal places as it can afford to. So what you can do is you can change that by going under the mode button. So under mode, here you have the option of float. 0 means it's going to round to the 1's place. 1 means it's going to round to the 10th place. 2 means that it's going to round to the 100th place, so on and so forth. So what we can do is use our arrow key to go down, and then go over to the right. We're going to round to the 100th place. And you want to press enter so that you're selecting that option. Anything that has the black box around it, that is the current status that your calculator is using. So in order to exit out of this screen, what we have to do is we have to quit. And once again, that's above our button, so we need to press second and mode in order to do that. So now what I want to do is to repeat that same step again that we have. So the way you repeat the previous line is you press the second button, and then you press enter. And we actually want the system to compute that, so we press enter again, and now your calculator is rounding to the 100th place. So you can always go back to mode, and you can always change it back to float. Float is the standard option. And you've seen the location of this next feature before. What I want to do is raise 6 to the negative second power. And so I have this value, and I want the fractional form of this. So where we would go is under math, and then I want the first option for fraction. So I press enter, and then I actually want the step to perform, so I press enter again. So 6 raised to the negative second power is the same as 1 divided by 36. And what this step is doing is taking its previous answer from the previous line, and then it's finding the fractional equivalent of it.